Actually, my neighbor was going to the store, and he was driving by, and the dog was sealed inside this bag, and this bag was tied to this T-post on the ground. And he was driving by, and I guess he saw some movement in the bag, and he was like, what the heck? So he stopped and pulled over, and he realized there was a dog in this bag. And so he ripped the bag open, and there was Buck, and he got out, and he limped out just about 2 yards, and then he just collapsed, like right over here, the dog. And the dog was like all bloody and very lethargic, bloodshot eyes, and very depressed. And the neighbor didn't know what to do. They called animal control, but they couldn't get a hold of animal control. And so they know that I'm a big animal lover, independent rescuer, and so they phoned me, and they told me they had just found a dog that was stuffed in a garbage bag. You know, could I come out here? So I came out here, you know, I assessed the situation and saw Buck, and I love animals, and so it was Saturday at 12 noon. All the vet clinics were closing, and I knew this was going to be an emergency visit call, but we loaded Buck up in the back of my SUV, and off he went to Conroe Emergency Clinic, and he's been there since yesterday. We thought originally that he was a bait dog. Based on his injuries, there was blood all over his face and his neck and his legs, and so at first appearance it looked like he was maybe used as a bait dog. But it later turned out that he had just been shot in the face with a shotgun that had what's called bird shot inside of it, and so he has all these bullets all over his face, all over his neck, all over his shoulders, in his mouth, in his gums, and sadly and unfortunately in his eyes even. And so Buck has been getting supportive care since yesterday. They've been able to stabilize him. He was extremely anemic and very dehydrated, very lethargic, wouldn't move. He also is limping, but they've been able to stabilize him. He's perked up today. Has lifted his head. He's moving around a little bit, so he's ready to come back home tonight. But he still needs to go to the vet and get x-rays to have his back, legs, and hips assessed as to why he's not moving accurately. And then he also needs to get to a specialist, an ophthalmologist, so they can check his eyes and see if maybe they can save his eyesight. They don't know right now whether he's able to see or not, or whether it's permanent damage or temporary. And so I am fundraising right now. Buck has his own Facebook page called Buck Needs Bucks for his buckshot injuries, and I'm fundraising for his medical expenses because they are going to be several $1,000s. I've raised enough right now to cover his expenses at the emergency clinic, but I do need to raise a couple $1,000s for the ophthalmologist and his x-rays. And so if you go to his Facebook page and like it, you can make a donation there, and Buck and I would greatly appreciate that.
What did you think? I mean, seeing something like that, just an animal just laying like that in a bag, just left for dead.
Well, unfortunately, I've been doing independent rescue most of my adult life, and now with social networking, I see a lot of this stuff on Facebook and a lot of horrible stories, so it doesn't surprise me. When I moved to the country a few months ago, I see a lot of apathy out here, and a lot of people just don't care about their animals. They don't spay neuter, and they let them run free. And these animals just stray, and you know, you got combination of that, people that don't like dogs, people that have guns, and stuff like this happens. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all, because dogs love unconditionally. You will never find anybody or anything that loves you like a dog. Why would you injure something like that? I don't understand.
Okay, doctor, first of all, your name?
My name is Dr. Ron Hendrick.
Okay, what's the name of the shelter here? Or
This is the Conroe Animal Emergency Clinic.
Okay, now, tell me a little bit about this clinic.
Well, this is almost a state-of-the-art, essentially a state-of-the-art clinic that's been here a long time with a great reputation as far as I'm concerned. We're here pretty much on every weekend from Friday evening till Monday morning, and then during the week from Monday evening through Friday after hours. So when people have an emergency and their regular doctor is unavailable, we're here.
I mean, how often do you get animals like this come in? You had this come in this week.
Unfortunately, we see it more often than we'd like to see, but it's not as often as I guess it could be, but probably once a month, maybe, something like that.
Most people will take care of them.
Yeah, we see injured animals every day that we're here.
Tell me a little bit about Buck's injuries and his prognosis now.
Buck came in with a pretty bad prognosis initially. He was hypothermic and in a comatose situation, and luckily we got him in time so that we could get his his temperature up and his electrolytes balanced out, his blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. And he's made a remarkable recovery. And his prognosis is very good, actually.
What kind of injuries did you find in him?
Well, he was actually shot in the face with a buckshot, and then left to die. I guess I'm not sure what time it happened, but in the middle of the night apparently, and a very cold night at that, and left just abandoned in a plastic bag, and left to die.
What about the buckshot? What kind of damage?
Basically, pretty much facial injuries. Both eyes were damaged. We don't know if he penetrated his brain, but enough that it severely affected his mentality, apparently. So he's got a lot of facial buckshot. He carries a lot of weight right there.
What about his eyes?
Both of them are injured permanently, I'm sure. Now, whether he can ultimately see, I'm sure he can see somewhat when they heal, but only time will tell us how extensive that injury is.
So it actually penetrated in the eye?
Oh, yes.
Itself.
Both eyes I'm sure have buckshot in them right now.
Okay. Now, most of the buckshot, I mean, that many, there's pellets everywhere.
Hundreds.
What do you normally leave that in there or take it out, or what do you normally do in that?
Typically, if you can get them out, now not of the eye. Now, I'm not convinced that we'll take them. Now, that's up to specialists to say if they should be removed or not, but chances are they'll leave them, I would think. And then Mother Nature's pretty kind. If we can just get them to heal, then we worry about secondary glaucoma, issues like that. But chances are it's going to be okay.
How old did you say Buck is?
He's fairly young. I would say probably 3.
Yeah, what about weight-wise? I mean, he looks a pretty good-sized dog.
I don't remember his weight.
His chart.
Yeah, we have to look at his chart to see his weight. He's a good-sized dog.
About 60 pounds.
60 or 70 pounds anyway. Sweet disposition, a wonderful dog. He'd make somebody a great pet.
All right.
Brock, there he is. Famous Buck. All right, good luck. Thanks. Hi, baby. Yeah, you're cold. I can see you shivering.